I've heard so much about you because you have such amazing friends. When I did the Zombies 4 carpet, Dara and Joshua just like raved about you. And I was like, oh, this makes it, this song is just so good. I'm just curious for you, like, I haven't been able to escape it, which is not a bad thing. But like I scroll every day and it's like there's something about, people singing the chorus or it's just like I shouldn't like this song, but it's my whole person, those kind of things. I'm just curious for you, what has this response been like for you, seeing it come alive in a time when like, growing up when High School Musical was on, you didn't have that instant feedback, right? Like that insane like it's latching on. You knew it was big, but not
Yeah,
like this. So what has it been like for you to see Dream Come True just take over social media?
I mean, it is absolutely wild to me. Every day I'm seeing something that is just, I've been doing a lot of crying and a lot of remembering what it was like for me growing up. And Lord, if we had TikTok then, trust I would have been all over the internet doing all the same, and getting the cousins involved in the concerts and singing along and all the things. It is just so wonderful to see. And I can't believe people are resonating with it in this way. The first couple, I was like, oh, cute, this is wild, a TikTok or two. And then the next day, it was like, oh, like, y'all are really going in on this song. Like, it is wild to me. I am so grateful to get to see this happen. And I'm loving every bit of it. People are hilarious. The way that they're memeing it and flipping it and singing along. And so many voices, people that
Yeah.
are doing karaoke to it. And I'm like, y'all are singing down. Like, talent showcases. It's wonderful.
It's amazing the power of music and it's not slowing down. Like I said, this morning I opened it and I think the first thing that came up was another one and I was
Yeah.
like it's so cool. And I love that like you've talked about how you grew up with Disney, obviously. I know you were on Nickelodeon, but you said Disney really had a huge impact for you. And it is these duets that have really like stood out on every soundtrack. Like when you're crafting this song and you did Over Again, these two duets, what kind of influence did those previous Disney Channel musicals kind of have on you?
They're everything. There's a feeling that I think you just kind of had to be there to be able to capture. I'm so grateful that I was exposed to that as a young age because it definitely informed the way that I write. But there was also something just so it's intimate and honest and true about those duets. And, it was often kind of our opportunity to learn the most about these characters within this grand story where we're hitting the boom cat and doing all of these, ginormous things. So like rule number one for me is always kind of trying to discover who these characters are and speak from them in a way that feels honest. And, I literally diaried as Nova and Victor, and tried to understand where they came from. And when I did begin to understand, I was like, wow, this is a really beautiful story. So yeah, it kind of sprung to life as soon as I was able to understand. And now this song exists, and it's the moment in the film where the audience comes to understand who they are and where they come from, and you know how huge it is for them to meet somebody who gets it. Um, I'm really amazed that it's resonating in the way that I hoped, and that people are sending me messages saying like, you know, seeing them be seen by one another helped me feel seen. It gave me hope. Like things like that are just like so wonderful and amazing. And we definitely have Troy and Gabriella to thank for it.
Right. And I know you're obviously you started as an actor as well. And I imagine you've probably been doing music just as long. Do you think because of that acting, it helped make your transition to this kind of music? Because I imagine you're also doing your own personal music. But is that something that your acting side kind of drew you to like, let me take that experience and see it applied to music in that way? Because there are plenty of people that write for soundtracks that aren't actors, but I feel like you had such a special connection to make this song. Do you think that that is because you are also an actor?
100%. I find it much easier to write as a character than I find it to write as myself sometimes, which is so funny. When I'm speaking about my own experiences, I'm able to like see my own experiences better through the lens of another character. And I think that is definitely something that I um, absorbed acting. I've been doing it since I was 8 years old. So I think I've always kind of, I'm very familiar with the idea of trying to understand who someone is and then speak through them. And it has informed my songwriting immensely in a way that it's made it easier for me to write for soundtrack and for a story than just like write a pop song, because we can write a pop song and shake, but like, when there's something there, when there's a story, when there's a
Yeah.
human being to connect with and speak, like that is just so, yeah, that's where it's at for me.
Is there any like songs for you that did what this song is doing for other people, like soundtrack songs that because there was a period of time like in the 80s and 90s when soundtrack songs were just like all over pop radio. Like those things just transcended through the screen, and we're seeing that now, obviously, with the Zombies, High School Musical, Descendants. What kind of movie soundtrack song for you maybe had a huge impact or you loved?
Man, I was really ridiculous about You Are the Music in Me from High School
Okay.
Musical too. That na 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 na, yeah, okay. Like that was that was my song. That was the score in my household. That's the song that I learned to play the piano to. That's the song that I bugged my mom and dad with all day and all night and had them sit down so I could perform both parts, might I add. It was the Troy and Gabriella one man show. Um, but yeah, that's the one that feels the freshest in my memory. I just remember frolicking around the playground while everybody else was playing Capture the Flag. I was like, you are the music in me.
Oh, that's amazing. You were destined to be the duet guy then, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's really cool.
I love that. And I went back and I was also listening to Over Again, which is such a great song. That one must have been fun though, because that was a bit meta, right? Like, besides being full circle for you with the High School Musical thing, it was like a song that was supposed to be for a High School Musical for being sung by obviously. So it's like you're kind of writing in a little bit of two different perspectives. What was it like crafting that song?
Man, that song was really cool to craft as well. The fact that it exists in the High School Musical bubble and in the High School Musical legacy was just so wild and exciting of a task, like my heart was beating out of my chest just like starting that one, and um me and Bestie worked on that one together and it was very cool kind of reliving what those duets meant growing up and what they were. And I just think similarly to Zombies, but I actually had, this was the fourth season of High School Musical, so there was a whole show to go back and watch and a whole love story to follow. What a gorgeous story with Seb and Carlos. Um, that song also just kind of showed up. I was like, oh, I know who these ones are. I get this. I feel this. And it's a really unique love song because it's, they're singing about a complicated relationship, and they understand and see each other and love each other and forgive each other, even though they're in a kind of turbulent spot in their story as a pair. So it was nice to kind of like write two characters that were taking accountability and being like, I see how I hurt you and I see how I am different from you, but here is why I love you eternally, unconditionally. Like that's so beautiful. And yeah, it was really cool to get to contribute to that.
And I loved your video where you did kind of break down the process of making Dream come true. I just wanted you to elaborate a little bit more on that. Is that something where it's like, okay, they've put out a pitch, they need songs for this movie, I'm gonna submit one. Do they give you a track, or is it everything is like coming from you? They give you like a little log line, and it's like, okay, this is the movie scene it's gonna be on. Let me just come up with something. Like, how does that process work for you?
Yeah, usually that's it. It's like, here's what's going on in the world. Here's what's going on in the story and here's who these characters are and the rest is born from you, which is nice. It's not it's kind of freeing actually to be able to take a stab and be like, here's how I hear it. I definitely didn't feel limited in any way when creating this, even though I definitely felt the like pressure and weight to like make a song that felt comparable to the Disney duets that I grew up with. But other than that, like reference and complicate, sometimes there's kind of a vibe, here's what you want everyone to feel is what they'll share. And then you just go for it. And this one showed up, I've said this a lot when talking about this song, but it's showed up more naturally than a lot of songs that I've written. It just felt very um, clear and correct. I felt like I really understood these characters and this world and this universe. And yeah, I was so thrilled and amazed and grateful when the song got chosen. I mean, I have footage of me crying with mom and dad and, running around the house. Like it's just crazy to get to contribute to a legacy that meant so much to me my
And
whole life.
and it just feels like it's so fitting the way that you're speaking about it. Just you can hear that how it resonates with the characters as well, and those words that you put in. Like it's just so cool to hear. And I got to go to 2 nights of the tour. So did you get to? I'm curious. Did you get to go yet?
I'm going. I'll be there.
Okay, because I was like, just that's gonna be a whole nother level for you. I already imagine because just as a person in the audience, I was like, everybody is singing, like they know every word, like they don't, the two of them don't even have to sing. Like it was only a week after the
Yeah.
movie had come out, and so I'm super excited. I hope you film yourself with that reaction because like that must be something you like when you're writing a song for a movie. It usually just stays a movie, like, but to have it now performed on a world or a city, U.S. tour.
An arena tour, might I
Yeah,
add.
they're playing Madison Square Garden, like stuff like that. Like, how does that feel for you?
It is absolutely crazy because I also remember the High School Musical tour.
Yes.
Like that was everything. And I gotta be honest, I didn't actually get to go, but I had the DVD. Okay. And I could perform the DVD for anybody who asks to this day. Like pop that DVD on, I know all the steps. Okay. So like that was just like so huge and important to me. And I remember seeing like my favorite artist live for the first time, and just like can't imagine how special that experience is for the people in the audience. And my mom and dad went to the tour before I did. Um, and because they're like mama to everybody too. So that your mama and dad to everybody. So they went to go support all the girls. Because that's also a crazy layer. Like, mind you,
Yeah.
this entire generation of Disney divas are like my closest friend. Like I grew up with these guys. Which feels really wild because I, as a child, always wanted to be a part of all the musicals I was watching. And now, ooh, I found my little musical bunch. We are really living in homeschool musical, the real life thing. Okay. Like that is it's such a funny world to exist in. So I'm so excited to go scream for my girls, but the extra layer of just like hearing a song I wrote in an arena, I don't even know how I'm going to react. I know mom and dad were very emotional, but I'll hit record. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's going to be a hard walk.
Yeah.
Get
No,
mad.
I'm
So
I'm excited for you to see that because it's absolutely amazing. And you mentioned all your friends being on it. Like now you're writing. Is this something you want to continue to do? Because like these Disney musicals, I don't think they're slowing down anytime soon. And you've already gotten in there with 2 different projects. And I know Joshua and Dara like let him write for everything. And I kind of agree with that. So is that kind of the trajectory you want to go to now? Is to be like now kind of like in the movie and soundtrack world?
absolutely. I'm having the most wonderful time of my life getting to contribute to these things, and it feels even cooler that often the folks starring in these films are people that I already know and love, and it's just such a cool way to get to be a part of it and to get to consume it and enjoy it as an audience member because I just love it so much to this day. I'm such a fan of all things Disney. So I would love to do it for as long as I can. And, this and beyond. I love musical theater and I have a lot of projects on stage that I'm working on right now and, some more TV and film projects that are incoming. So be on the lookout.
Awesome. I love that. Well, it's been great to see from your show on Nickelodeon, all 3 of you are thriving right now, like all on projects, on the big screen and stuff. And so I've been covering Young Hollywood for a long time. So when I get to see the young people that I interviewed just like, 10 something years later crushing it, it just makes me so happy. So I'm so proud of you. Congratulations. And I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you. That means so much.
Awesome.
I appreciate it.